The illegal elbow.
Elbow techniques.
This is the elbow.
An elbow from here. I'll throw the elbow.
Yeah, the illegal elbows.
All right, people, we're back, man. Illegal Elbow Radio. Another exciting episode for you guys, man. This is Brian from Illegal Elbow Radio, Illegal Elbow on Twitter.
And this is Dan from MMA Aftermath on Facebook and Twitter.
We're back, people, man. To kick it off, man, Dan, let's go down this Dana White thing over the weekend, man. I mean...
Well, of course you got some fans that are just like, fucking, they're a little upset, you know? You have a boatload of injuries... And he was saying something about, you know, giving money back for the ticket holders or some bullshit like that. But you got people that are pre-ordering pay-per-views and all that, man. And, you know, people are frustrated, and they took to Twitter about it. And they're like, you know, fuck, we got a Dana White's trying to talk this shit up like it's a badass pay-per-view, this and that. Why the fuck should we have to pay for this? This is a waste of our fucking time and money. Then Dana comes back and says, listen, you dork, I'm not forcing you to do anything. You can go watch The Notebook if you want.
Oh, give me a break.
Like, dude, and we were talking about it on the forums, and I'm like, all the way from last week when he kicked a judge out of the Chinese event, a live event, you know, being the dictator, I have all the power, which UFC came out with an apology saying, you know, we're sorry for his action. He did not have the power to do that.
Right.
You know. And basically having to send out an apology and forcing him to send out an apology because they were fucking embarrassed by his actions, dude. We've talked about this many a times, and I'm going to hand this off to you, about Dana White just hanging it up, man. Your fucking ego is getting in the way of doing things so much that you're going on Twitter and fucking attacking fans. So, dude, it's time for him to go, man.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, really, it's like, if he was gone, would people miss him? I don't know. I really don't think so. It's like if you had a guy like Joe Rogan doing some of the promos or doing some of the post-fight talks and that kind of shit, I think it would be just as good, if not better. I mean, you got Joe Rogan, a guy that knows a lot about the sport. I mean, he's very active in, you know, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you know, karate. You know what I mean? That guy's he's showed a couple fighters some kicks. I mean, it's nuts, but. You know, not to get too far off point, but, you know, I'm thinking a guy like that or, you know, I don't know. And he's not going to last forever, you know, talking about Dana White, you know, in the biz. I mean, but I don't think we're going to see him gone for a long time. But his comments, you know, about the whole judge thing, that was just ridiculous. And that was just PR, total PR. There's no way he disagrees with what he did. You know what I mean? He's not going to backpedal or whatever.
No.
And you know. Because I'm sure he totally meant, and probably had reason to. I mean, but still, it's like
he probably wanted to do it before and didn't do it, you know. And then it's going to be the last time he does it because, like they said, you don't have the jurisdiction to do that shit. You know?
Right. And the brothers, you know, Fertitta brothers were probably pissed about it when they heard about it. They were probably like, "Dude, what the fuck are you doing, man?" I mean, I know, I just you know, speculating. I don't know. They might have said, you know, fucking hey, go for it or whatever. Who knows? But. I would think that, you know, in terms of business, they were probably like, what the hell, man? But I saw these embedded shows are really actually very cool. The embedded shows, the way they work is they go, I want to say Monday or Tuesday of fight week, and then they get, you know, behind-the-scenes shots of, you know, of Dana.
I posted one up there. I don't know if you've seen it. It's the one with fucking Ronda Rousey's.
If it was on Facebook, I probably didn't, but because
yeah.
I Facebook is more detrimental than it is good. I don't know. I just really don't like Facebook lately. I've seen a lot of people get on arguments on there, and it's like, man, this is not even, you know, about stupid shit too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've been trying to eliminate some of the trolls on Fightbook because he's a nice guy, man. He's like, he doesn't deserve that kind of shit. So I get on there and I pit everybody against the trolls, dude, and then they basically go away. But when we're trying to have a conversation...
not even that, with just, you know... I mean, I'm talking from my end, you know, and I totally hear what you're saying, because I know what you're talking about. But, and that wasn't even a big deal. I just thought, you know, in that situation, it was kind of jacked up, but, you know, it's under the bridge. I could really care, man. You know, I could really care less, you know, next time, or I couldn't care less, I should say, but, basically, I don't know. Facebook is just there's a lot of arguments amongst friends I have on there, and it's just like I don't want to be subjected to this. I'll post something, and somebody's got something shitty to say about it. It's like I don't troll your page and talk negatively about everything you fucking post. So it's like I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to, but and it's there's a lot of other factors to it, but besides the whole Facebook shit, Dana, on the Embedded show, Monday edition, Tuesday edition, I don't know which one it was they started with, because they got to, I think, episode 4, and then it was pretty much done. But I've seen them get to episode 6, to where it's all the way up to fight night. You know what I mean? Which they may have 5 released, 6 released, maybe. I don't know. I haven't really checked, because we're already beyond that fight night. You know what I mean? We're already beyond that pay-per-view or whatever. But he talked in there about how, people are bagging on this card. People are saying that like reputable news sites are saying that we shouldn't buy this card, and it's like, what the fuck kind of shit are they, telling? They're disrespecting you, and it's like, wait a minute, it's not about disrespecting the fighters, dickhead. It's not about saying to the fighters, fuck you guys, we're not buying the card because of you. We're not saying that at all. Nobody's saying that. It's the fact that it was
buy a pay-per-view for the fucking if anything on this one is, if you could dig it up, it was the main event. When that was gone, should have made it free.
Yeah, when the main event was gone, it became a completely different card. And I mean, Dana was like, he gave a really great speech. I got to give him that. The guy can motivate people. I'll give him that. He could definitely do that. And the guy is, he is good at what he does, man.
Some of these fighters he motivates by intimidation. So, motivation by intimidation.
That too. But it was actually very motivating. I thought, well, that was a great speech to give to these guys, because if you didn't say that, they might have been fucking down in the dumps about it. But they really did pull out a good card, I thought, in my opinion. I thought as a whole, it turned out to be a much better card than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a sack of shit. I thought the main event, I thought it was going to be garbage, man. I didn't know anything about Joe Soto. I don't. I'm going to be honest here, man. There's some promotions I just don't follow. I don't have enough time. We don't have enough time to follow every promotion that's out there. Tachi Palace fights, given respect, man. They have great fighters coming out of there, obviously, but I don't have enough time to follow him. That's where he came from. He was
not going to take time off my 9 to 5 to study Hitachi or whatever, Kuminachi or
we can't afford to.
Hitachi building.
I
don't know.
We have a 9 to 5,
but
until we don't have a 9 to 5, man, we can't. There's no way. So people people know that. I mean, we're 9 to 5.
We've always stressed we're more of a fan.
Fan-based show.
We're like fans fucking talking about MMA shit. So you
just
can get
like
all the pros and the prognosticators and the statisticians and the ex-fighters and all that, but we're just trying to break it down on a shooting the shit. Like I always say, shooting the shit around the campfire or around a fucking beer, over a beer, about some shit we like, and that's MMA. We've liked it since fucking '92. Before that,
boxing.
Tuesday night fights, Thursday night fights, USA.
Hell yeah.
Watching a young Mike Tyson knock motherfuckers' heads off. So
yeah,
we've been here,
but yeah, we've
studied the fight game.
Been around the block a couple times, but I thought it was a good speech to give to the guys to pump them up, get them engaged, get them excited about what they're doing, and it really showed, in my opinion, because I thought, after hearing that speech, I knew them guys were fired up. They were definitely fired up, and I got to give hats off to a lot of these guys. We get to it here.
Yeah, but like you said, that speech, it's something good that Dana did, but the bad is starting to outweigh the good. So
no, it really is. And our last show that we put out, the Barao versus Dillashaw oversaturation, it's the truth. It really is. There's way too many fight cards. Because if you go back, maybe let's go ahead and say, just for good measure, go back like 5 years. You had at least 4 or 5 fights that were every single fight card had 4 or 5 fights that had top stars on them. And some people speculate, is UFC running out of stars? Are all the stars retiring? It's starting to look that way. They're going to really have to start doing another building process here to really, get some of these guys' names up, which they are doing a good job at that, but it might not be fast enough. I don't know, but... The oversaturation is a big thing right now. It's giant. You know, when I'm calling, go ahead, bud.
No, this injury plagued card couldn't have had it happen at a worse time after us just talking about the oversaturation. Then you come right into an oversaturation with a lackluster to follow up an oversaturation.
Right. I mean, I understand.
Yeah, the guy put on a good fight and all that, but like you said, people are giving their hard-earned money to see names here. So
yeah, and I mean that's, you know, there's two sides to it. It's like I gotta go ahead and understand what they're saying with we can't cancel this card. You know what I mean? They already canceled 176, so they can't cancel 177. It's going to look horrible. From a business standpoint, it's going to look horrible if you cancel 2 back-to-back cards. Fucking this destruction. You know what I mean? You remember, people might have forgot about it, man. They canceled 176 altogether. The 176 does not exist. People can go back and watch it. Oh, no, it doesn't exist. Shit, there was no 176. That's right. It's like, yeah, they had to fucking straight up cancel the shit. So they probably lost a lot of money on that. So when they got to this, it's like, you know damn well there's no way they're going to cancel this. And bringing Joe Soto up, man, I think at first I'm like, okay, this guy, it's his debut. He doesn't even deserve a title shot. What the hell is this? And then the guy comes in and does a fucking great job, in my opinion. You know, it took Dillashaw a while, in my opinion, to really figure this dude out. Joe Soto did a great job coming in, knowing, you know, they've trained together before. So they trained together before, so they know a little bit about each other. It's not like they're on each other's radar and they know exactly what's going to happen with the opposite guy. No, they've trained together before, so they know a little bit. So it's not like going in, with absolutely the unknown. It's not like it's that kind of situation. You know, and I didn't know that until, like, almost the card. You know what I mean? When I got to the card, I knew it just before the card had started because I was doing the embedded shit, trying to catch up on all the news and everything that was going on, but without actually jumping into the 177 pre-fight, or post-fight here, excuse me. I think to bounce out of here, you know, because we pretty much gave it a valiant effort when it comes to the oversaturation. I think a lot of people are agreeing. You know, if you guys agree, Legal Elbow at Hotmail, it's plain and simple, man. Tell us what you guys think. Any comments, suggestions, whatnot. You know, that idea. But there's a big oversaturation going on. They're trying to grow at an accelerated rate, and I almost think that they need to do what Bellator is doing, which Scott Coker said it's going to be on about a monthly basis that they're going to have a card. No more tournament bullshit. You know, where it's weekly with all the same guys you've seen every single time. It's like, yeah, it's cool if you're a big fan of these guys and you're really a Bellator type lover, but it's like, I'm sorry, man, I don't see it. I don't see it accelerating. It's just all the same shit. In Bellator, oversaturation. It's just all the same guys fighting each. Oversaturation with UFC, obviously, Bellator had some of it too. Scott Coker's putting a stop to it. Dana White needs to put a stop to it. You know, if you're going to have all these, you know, cards that aren't that great, and they're kind of questionable, make sure they're fucking free. When you're going to have a pay-per-view, make sure it's a fucking stacked pay-per-view. Don't rip everybody off with a fucking UFC on Fox card.
Put in a fucking something new that that can give refunds, can give shit back, make it a free fucking card, because this is not the first time that this shit's going to happen. We are talking about injuries days, if not the day before the card happens now. Okay, we're not talking about some guy fucked himself up in training. We're talking about people that are getting injured a day before the fucking fights are happening now. So this shit's getting real. Yeah. There has to be something set up, not only to give people refunds or to make this a free card, people that pre-ordered. Not only that, but let's put some regulations on the way these guys cut weight, train. And Brian and I have done a fucking full episode on the overtraining in the MMA,
pushing yourself too hard.
And maybe not only overtraining, but maybe sparring against people like Overeem and people like that.
And knocking yourself out of a championship fight, yeah.
Yeah. When you got a fight coming up and you get your shit fucked up, a ligament busted, or you're going into surgery, you're out 6 months. Us fans don't need all that shit. There needs to be regulations where, you train so much a day. They did it in football. I know this is not, maybe UFC can do this, but instead of 2 a days, they only have 1 a days, Instead of making the guys come out in the morning and then, rest up a little bit and come back out again, and then overexerting themselves when their muscles are already calmed down and, making them fucking, because when an athlete does something and they're done doing it, it's time to shut it down for the day and let them rest their muscles. Look at a pitcher, it's the same way. When he's done, you ice up the muscles, you take it easy. There's another day,
You talking about the pitch counts and all that?
Yeah, not only, it's just, my point, the point I'm trying to make is the overexertion.
Right,
of the muscles and everything
fuck, back
else.
in the day, though, that kind of goes with the whole pussy rule where everybody's worried about everybody hurting themselves, and fucking everybody's got to have a fucking helmet on. Put a helmet on your kid. We didn't have any fucking helmets back in the day.
No.
We didn't. Guys were pitching for 9 innings back in the day. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like
now
it's
too
much
more
regulation,
scientific and medical. Is getting into those decisions,
right? Which could be a lot of other different factors, pertaining to that. You know what I mean? It could,
exactly.
What are they doing to themselves to?
How are they training? How are they cutting weight?
Right.
Who are they training against? How many hours are they doing it?
Which is a great example right there with Henan Barao. It's like, how is this? How is this guy? Gone all this time, 30 fights or whatever it is.
Yes. No problems.
Undefeated, no problems, cuts weight fine, and then all of a sudden, he's in the shitter,
And that's Dana stepping in again, right when you're saying, because Dana's questioning the same thing that we're talking about.
Right.
Because he's refusing to give him his fucking pay. Because it's like, oh, okay, fucking minutes or hours before the fight. It's not like you passed out like Stefan Struve because of a medical condition. You didn't fucking. I'm not saying that it's easy to make weight, but you got to at least be a few pounds where you're supposed to be and have kind of an easy time doing it if you're a vet. You know what to do.
Yeah, within days of the fight.
Yes.
You got to be within a couple pounds.
I'm not taking anything away from the guys that are cutting weight. It's an amazing thing that they have to do to go in saunas and ride fucking, but it's just their bodies go through hell, dude. But all I'm saying is you've done it before, like Brian's saying. You're gonna be a couple pounds over. You can cut it. This guy's trying to cut 10 pounds or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. He completely depleted himself. I mean, that's the way Danny was talking about it. I mean, he's not the only one talking about it that way, but he completely depleted himself of electrolytes and all that shit. And it's like
he would have been useless against Dillashaw, dude. He would have been useless.
Even if he didn't pass out, he came in there so exhausted, you know what I mean, trying to replenish whatever he's got if he didn't make weight, that, he'd have looked like we talked about some of the fighters in the past. We might see some problems with these guys. These guys that come in and they look emaciated, and somehow they're able to pull it off.
Yep.
It's a big problem, along with the oversaturation and all that shit, but if
it
you're
just
ready
didn't need to happen, man. After that, it was just plagued, and then you had who was it? Cajudo.
Yeah,
Cajudo getting out.
Yeah, it's a funny thing, man, and I wrote it up on illegalelbow.com if you guys want to check it out. He calls off at what was it, man? He called off of either Legacy or Titan Fighting.
So he's got a pass.
Yeah, no. It's like for the same fight. Right. He was supposed to fight in Titan, maybe Friday or Saturday, just this past Friday or Saturday. He called that off, came over and said he's going to fight in UFC. So it's like UFC contacted him. But there was no contingency, whatever you want to call it, in his contract to where he couldn't go somewhere else. So then he came over to UFC and then called off in UFC due to a health reason. So he called off this one place, undisclosed. Yeah, I think Dana said he's fucked. He's not doing shit.
Yeah, he might get caught, dude, for that, because that's kind of like conflict of interest along with holding shit back. I know it wasn't in your contract or whatever, but you want to kind of be upfront with your employer. They're not going to look kindly on it, you know.
No, so. Neither side should. You know, whether it was I'm looking it up right now here real quick. But I also did a write up on just kind of what matchups could happen after all these victories, losses, whatnot. But what to give them next, kind of a deal. But here we go. Here it's 2 back-to-back posts within holy minutes. Shit. Yeah, not minutes, but I mean I can't even really say. But I know Legacy FC, Legacy 34 was happening right around the same time as UFC 177. I don't know if it was the same day or a day apart. I believe it was a day apart. Legacy was happening Friday. UFC 177 was happening Saturday. So he called off. It says right here, Henry Cejudo withdraws from Legacy FC 34 headliner for undisclosed reasons. And then literally, he's added to the UFC card, Henry Cejudo withdraws from UFC bout with Jorgensen due to medical reasons. So I'm sure Dana knows about both now, and it was like, well, wait a minute, dude. You called off for this card so that you can come over and fight with us. Because he called off for undisclosed reasons. Yeah, he called off because he had a shot at UFC. And that's what my opinion is. Why would you call off that close to a fight if you didn't have a better deal going on? You know what I'm saying? I mean, he called off for 2 cards that were right next to each other. So you knew that, okay, even though he called off for this one, he's going to still try.
It was almost like he was like, oh, I don't want to piss anybody off. And he was trying to be like, well, I didn't fight in yours, so I don't want to get kicked out of here. And then I don't want to piss them off, so I'm not going to fight in here. That's the only thing I can come up with.
Well, I think he was right. I think he was initially, there was some kind of injury that he didn't want to disclose to anybody, and UFC probably didn't get word of it or didn't.
That's going to get his ass fired too. So.
Right. And then he got the offer from UFC, which I'm speculating. He got the offer from UFC, so he jumps on board to it. He didn't have no stipulations in his contract, so he could jump over to a UFC if he wants or whatever. So he was on the 177 bout within days.
I'm giving an 80-90% chance that he's going to get fucking nixed.
Oh, he's fucked. But he goes over to this one because it's a better option. He gets more money, and it's a better opportunity. And then he calls off because he cannot get over his medical issues. Because he withheld it all. Yeah, obviously he withheld something from both places, so he might be.
I'll be up Schitt's Creek.
Yeah. Legacy's probably we'll probably keep him for the future. You know what I mean? If he's a good name, whatnot for them.
Probably say former almost UFC fighter entering the ring. No. Give him some kind of name.
Yeah, who knows, man? But former UFC possibility, entering the cage. But let's get the hell out of here, man. I think we pretty much did it.
All right, people.
We had to do it, man. But without further ado, man.
Steadfast.
God beer.